This is Matthew McConaughey,
Natalie Portman,
James Patterson,
Michael Ian Black,
and you are listening to
Five Questions
with Dan
Schawbel.
Winnie, welcome to Five Questions.
Thank you so much for having me.
How did your family help normalize your skin condition while you were being bullied for being different as a child?
I think they did a really good job at making me feel like I wasn't different or that everyone was different, two of the same thing. I think there was a time when my mom was really worried about my skin because she had no clue what it was or, what was happening with her daughter. And so she would have me lift up the back of my shirt to show my grandmother and my aunts oh, this is a new spot that came up on her body. And my grandmother told her, you can't do that to her because that's going to make her feel like she's different and make her feel like there's something wrong when there really is nothing wrong with my granddaughter. And so, just having those little tidbits in life really helped me acknowledge that being different is something that everyone has. My difference is just this specific thing. It's vitiligo, but, some people have freckles, some people have curly hair, some people have straight hair, some people have, some people have albinism. There's so many different ways you can be different. And so I think them helping me acknowledge those things were a big help.
And that's just visual too. I mean, everyone's
Right.
personality is at least somewhat
100%,
different, right?
Exactly. Precisely.
Well, it's pretty genius that your family was that smart to be able to know how to talk to you even at that age and kind of foresee how that would impact you even as an adult. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
How did a bad photo shoot inspire you to start your company, CAY Skin, and how does your brand reflect that and what you stand for?
Well, it wasn't a bad photo shoot. It was actually a really good photo shoot. It was a bad experience on a great photo shoot. The pictures came out amazing, but whenever I got onto set, we were shooting in the Bahamas from sun up to sundown, and they didn't want me to reapply sunscreen because of that bluish gray cast that it would leave on my skin, on my body, especially being a woman of color. And so I went without sunscreen, shooting from sun up to sundown, and left with the worst burn of my entire life. I had to have doctors give me injections for pain, for inflammation. It was flaking, it was red, it was tight, it was painful. And I really didn't want anyone to have to go through that type of experience just because they didn't want the look or feel of icky sunscreen. And that got me to thinking, why doesn't the sunscreen industry have something that you want to wear that's more skincare than it is the idea of sun care? And so that was the brainchild of CAY Skin and where it all started.
I remember I was in Brazil and I brought my own sunscreen. Huge mistake. I had a huge burn. I had to go to the doctor and, there was the time for recovery. And that was the only time I've ever been really burned. But yeah, I mean, having good sunscreen and also taking care of your skin at the same time, I think is really important. In fact,
For sure.
I think I started
in today's day, we're getting so amazing in the beauty industry when it comes to having shade ranges for, complexion products, foundation, concealer. And so those are things that we want, we don't necessarily need makeup, but we need protection from the sun. We need, to block those UV rays from, entering our skin. And those things are really harmful to us. So why hasn't the beauty industry tapped into inclusivity in that sense as well? So that was something that I kind of saw was missing in the industry, and I wanted to fill that gap.
Definitely. And you did. But it wasn't very easy to even raise capital for CAY Skin. What have you learned about business through trying to raise capital and build the brand?
I've learned that I am one of about 100 women of color who have even been able to raise over $1 million for their businesses. And for me, that was really, obviously, I was really proud to be one of one of them, but not proud to be one of few, you know? I feel like we need to, or not we need to, but, you know, the industries need to be able to be more inclusive, and that ties into being able to raise money and knowing that women of color are just as able as any other business owner or founder to create these amazing products, businesses, and ventures.
I remember I posted on Instagram when I came across that stat about how few African-American women, especially, have been able to raise money. And literally in the comment section, some white male was like, hey, do we have any, anyone who needs funding in here, was trying to help out. And I was like, I always thought that was really powerful.
Yeah, honestly. And the more we talk about it, the more, we can know about it and make a change about it. I didn't know that stat until I was one of, and now that I know, I want to make sure that I spread that word, because it definitely needs to be changed.
Absolutely. And how are you able to meet the needs of this business while also modeling around the world in other projects?
I am figuring it out as I go along. And this is, everything that I've done in my life has been new at one point. I had to learn how to model and travel the world while having a family life and having relationships with my friends and stuff. So it's another thing that I've added to the resume, and it's just all a learning curve. Making time for my baby business, making time for my family still, making time for my friends, making time for modeling, is all just scheduling, I guess.
Yeah, you adapt to those changes.
Exactly.
But I also think too, because you've modeled for a long enough period of time and established yourself, that creates efficiencies. Just like, being in business for years creates efficiencies, meaning like you've done it a lot, so you can do things faster. You know who to contact. You might be for your business hiring people. And so I feel like that can help you bring new things in. Not necessarily,
because this has all been brand new, like especially creating a business in the pandemic, like that is like something that nobody experienced unless you did it in the pandemic, So it was all very new, but I think it's all worth it when it's something that you're passionate about as well. And I always say that, like, when it comes to creating businesses, I'll have like meetings with people that I know I admire in business, like Michael Rubin, or, like Kim Kardashian, like people that I admire who are doing things that I want to achieve as well. And they'll always say, like, you have to do things that you're passionate about, For me, obviously, I have a passion when it comes to makeup, skincare, all these things. And so it was a right fit for me, because when it comes to doing these things, it's something I'm interested in.
Yeah, and that's how it comes off very authentic. If this is something that affected you, which is what gave you the idea for the company, and true to who you are and what you've kind of been through and care about, then it's going to come off the right way. And that's why, the business, in a sense, is an extension of who you are.
Yeah, literally. Your business should be an extension of who you are, for sure.
Well, that's how I feel too. And so what's your best piece of career advice?
Best piece of career advice? I would say that's definitely one, that it needs to be something that you're obsessed with. Because you're going to be talking about it all the time. It's going to be a part of your life. This is going to be something that's a part of my life for the rest of my life. So it has to be something that I enjoy, my grandfather always told my mom, do what you love, because it will never feel like work. And so that is definitely something that I carry with me in the new ventures that I want to go into. They have to be things that I'm really passionate about, something that I admire. So things that I'm really interested in, not just doing things just to like slap my name on something or, a cash grab. Like, it needs to be something that I really love.
And that's a big difference.
There's going to be ups and downs in everything that you do. There's going to be ups and downs. So it has to be worth it in those down moments for you to keep pushing through to see those highs.
Yeah, and the amount you're going to care, since it's your own baby, versus if you just put your name on someone else's like lipstick. It's
Exactly.
completely different because kind of the ownership and the success, you can't point the finger anywhere
Falls
else
on
besides
you.
yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the accountability though. I think it's great.
For sure.
It's very motivating.
It is extremely motivating for sure.
Well, that's
You
great
don't wanna
advice.
fail.
And thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. This was fun.